Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Monday, May 10th, 2021, and we are again in the final hour of the trading day. And what an interesting trading day it has been so far. As you know, I prefer to make the majority of my buying and selling decisions at the end of the day, in the last hour, in particular in the last few minutes, because during the day, you have the day traders and you have the algorithms. They are the ones that are in control of the price, moving things around. At the end of the day, you have the large financial institutions come in. They're dealing with the most money. They have very smart people, best information, best technology, and they start to move the price to where they feel the most they move the price to what they feel is the most valid price. And therefore, if that's the most valid price from the people dealing with the most money, those are the levels where I make my buying and selling decisions, whether I'm deciding to enter something or exit something. I just want to see what the large financial institutions do at the end of the day. So anyway, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you had a nice weekend. Hope you had a nice Mother's Day and told your mother that you love her. I hope you did that and that you also had some fun and had a little relaxation as well. So all right, let's see what the markets are doing. It's Tale of Two Cities again today. Currently, the Dow Jones is up 105 points. However, the NASDAQ is down 305 points, down 2.22% just today. So the NASDAQ, there's been some selling and distribution in the NASDAQ, and there's been buying in the industrials and in the financials. That's why you see the disparity between the Dow being up 100 and the NASDAQ being down 300. And the S&P is down 27 points. It's down 0.65%. So, all right, well, here's the plan for today. First of all, we are going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we are going to come back. We are going to take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, and how I'm going to manage them going forward. I did have one day trade today on Apple that I will share with you. After that, we're going to go over to the board where my students have their positions. So we're going to go over there, take a look, see how those are doing. I do see some green over there. I see a little bit more red, but glad that we have a little bit of green as well. After that, we're going to talk a little bit about trader psychology. As you know, if you've been following this podcast for any length of time, psychology is such a huge part of trading. It's the greatest skill you'll ever learn. You do have to learn how to identify support, resistance levels, do a little basic math as far as positioning for volatility and know where your levels are. It's all very important, and I'm not trying to diminish it. It is important, but what really counts is, can you follow the plan you created? And that comes down to the psychology of trading. So I want to touch on that a little bit. I'm hoping one day, I say about the same thing every day, but in little different ways. I'm just hoping one day it will just come across and you'll internalize it and you'll go, I get it now, right? So that is the main skill, everybody. Let's not forget, that is the main skill. Okay. After that, I have gone down through my watch list. I have gone down through the results of Kamal's scanner. I do have 3 requirements whenever I'm looking to enter a new trade. The first, I need a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up on multiple time frames if necessary. Ideally, that's the best way to go. Secondly, I need to have a good risk to reward ratio. It's very, very important that you buy as close to your stop level as possible, but not just randomly. It has to be at key support levels like the 250 day or the 200 or a confluence of those signals, or an under 30, over 30. But risk to reward is very important. You can have a wonderful setup. You can have a setup that has 6 or 7 confluences, but the train may have already left the station. It may be too far gone and it doesn't offer you a good risk to reward anymore. So that's a key thing. Look for good setups, but pass on the ones that are not good risk to rewards. And then lastly, make sure you have a complete trading plan anytime you hit the buy button. Like, it's easy to hit the buy button. No skill involved whatsoever. But the skill comes in creating a plan. Are you buying the correct amount of shares based upon your maximum allowed loss and based upon the current market volatility? Do you know where your end of day, do you know where your emergency stop is? Do you know where your end of day stop is? Do you know where your intraday profit targets are? Do you know where your major overhead resistance levels are? Do you have a plan or a protocol system in place in order to efficiently trail a position that has gone your way? So you need to think about all these things, and you also need to think about correlation. You do not want to be too heavily invested in any one sector. If they all go up, great, fantastic. But just like today, if you're heavily invested in tech, if you have 4 or 5 tech stocks, you're probably not doing so hot tamale. You know what I mean? So, and if you're invested in some Dow stocks and you're invested in some technology stocks and you're more diversified, then you're not doing as poorly today, right? So it's a good day to kind of make that point. All right, so I do have some potential end of day candidates, a couple good ones that I've been looking at, but I have to wait and see where the large financial institutions are going to close those prices. Amazon is probably one of my favorites today, if and only if it can close over the 200-day moving average. So I'm going to go down. We'll look at the potentials as we get closer to the close. I'll narrow it down to my favorite 1 pick, maybe 2 picks. I'm not sure. We'll just have to see. And then I'll place my trade before the close of the market if those levels hold. After the market closes, if anybody has any questions for me, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. That's why I'm here. That's why I created this channel. So if you have any questions, need clarification on anything, just please let me know. Okay. If you have any stock symbols that you would like me to look at prior to the close, put them in the chat. Make sure you put an emoji by them so I know it's time sensitive, and I will do my very best to get to them before the close of the market. And then lastly, if any of my students have any new positions that they'd like me to update or to put on or take off of the board, if you could please wait till the end of the day so that I'm done teaching, done trading, pressure's off, and we'll spend as much time as we need to get to those. Okay? All right, well, that's the plan. Hang tight. I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer, and I'll be back in 40 seconds. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, well, let's take a look and see who is here today with us. Do I have my microphone on? I do. Lava is here. Nice to see you, Lava. As always, hope you had a really good weekend and hope you're doing well. And I'm looking forward to your stock pick today. Zing is here. Nice to see you, Zing. Appreciate you coming back. I appreciate you becoming a regular. If there's anything I can help you with, you please let me know. Marcus Glass is here. Good to see you, sir. Hope you are doing well. It was good catching up with you, and I hope your charts are working out and that you were able to talk to Thinkorswim about getting those labels up there. But really good speaking to you last week, my friend. David is here. Good to see you, David. Hope you are having a good day. You and the family are doing well, and you had a nice Mother's Day. Tony is here. Hi, Tony. Tony says hello. Hi, right back at you. Appreciate you being here, Tony. If there's anything I can help you with, please let me know. John is here. Nice to see you, John. I can say hi because parked today. Oh, you're parked today. Well, I'm glad you did. It's always good to hear from you, John. Hey, Steve, good to see you. Appreciate you being here, my friend. Always an honor, always a privilege. And I hope you and Holly had a nice weekend and the dogs as well. And thank you for everything that you do for this channel, Steve. Steve says, I exited SCCO at 80.90 for a 10.93% gain on the intraday rejection of the 70 RSI. Excellent, my friend. What a great trade. What a great trade. And Steve also says here, I exited Angie at 12.57 for a 7.78% loss on the plunge under the 30 RSI and the 200-day SMA. A lot of these a lot of these deep dip buys have not held today at those levels, which is a bit telling, I think. Steve says, oh, exactly what I said. The deep dip buys are collapsing spectacularly in one day. I haven't seen this since the pandemic. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, those deep dip buys, those levels, those 200s, those confluences of those are strong. And if those cannot hold, it is a bit of a red flag for sure. Okay, let's see. Lova says ZTEO, it's only good if it gives us a V1 before the close. If it does, it will have tested the 50 RSI, tested the 50 SMA. Weekly has a 520 cross last week. Well, let's take a look at that. ZTO. Okay, so it did reject the 50. It did reject the 50 RSI. It's battling right now with the 200-day moving average. The weekly had a 520 crossover last week. It has now crossed under. It would have to close above. It wouldn't have to have a V1. It wouldn't have to. It could just be an intraday rejection of the 200 as well. If it had a V1, it would be better on one hand, but on the other hand, it would be more extended. And we're getting back up here into resistance in that 200. But for me, if I really wanted to buy this, I would want it to close above the 200-day moving average because we'd have an intraday rejection of the 200. We would have a rejection of the 50 SMA. We'd have a rejection of the 50 RSI, and we'd have a rejection of the previous low false breakout to the downside. So if you're really looking at buying that, Lova, I would wait for a close over the 200 at the very least. Kamal is here. Hey, bud. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good day and that you had a nice weekend and a nice Mother's Day, Kamal. Appreciate everything you do for this channel, and thank you, as always, for your friendship. Marcus says, I would like you to look at MCD in terms of RSI and coming back into the value zone. Okay. So I'm looking at MCD, which is McDonald's. We have a major high. We're going higher and higher and higher and higher with the MACD going lower and lower and lower and lower. RSI is going lower and lower and lower and lower. This looks bearish to me, Marcus. This looks bearish to me. I would not, this is something I would look to short if I had the right signal. But as far as returning to the value zone, yes, if it returned to the value zone, move sideways, we had a V1 or a V2, I would buy that dip, but not right at the moment. And we're at a 65.13 RSI. It's a little high for me to buy. I mean, if I was in the trade, if I was long the trade, I would still stay in it. But as far as any new setup today, so if I was in it, I would stay in it. If I had it and was profitable in it, I would stay in it at these levels. But as far as entering a new trade, I would need a move into the value zone between the green line here and above this green line here, somewhere in this level here. Quad is here, buddy. Good to see you. Quad says, good afternoon, Greg Group. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you, bud. Hope you and your wife are doing well. Frank says, hi, Greg and Group. Hello, Mr. Frank. Always an honor, privilege to see you. And thank you for everything that you do for this channel. John says, I've been wondering when you say you're trading Bitcoin is in futures, GBTC or the Bitcoin itself. If Bitcoin, which platform have you found are the spreads kind of heavy? So I trade on a platform called Binance, not finance, but on Binance, B-I-N-A-N-C-E, and I trade the futures. And the futures are a little bit different than if you're talking about trading futures like American futures. So I had to kind of get adjusted and calibrated to that. So you can just, but with those futures, there's a huge amount of leverage. I mean, you can trade at 125 times what you have, which would be ridiculous, obviously, right? Let me see. Did I answer that? I've been wondering where you say you're trading Bitcoin. Yeah, it's on Binance, BINANCE.com. And I'm not really trading Bitcoin. I'm trading Bitcoin futures. You can email me, John, if you have any other questions. I'm happy to go further into it. Miko is here. Good to see you, Miko. Good afternoon, Greg and everyone. Nice to see you. Steve says Beyond Meat 20 RSI. Ooh, that's never good. Look at that, everybody. Hey, Steve, I have a question for you, if you don't mind answering. You know, of course, we buy under 30, over 30 on the RSI. What are your thoughts with under 20, over 20? Is that something that ever interests you? I mean, you know, I've seen that in trading books all the time, but it seems like when you get down to those 20s, it's so low, like it's almost too low. Do you have any comments on that? Paxton, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a nice weekend. And if Tracy's there, please say hello. Jonathan is here. Evening, Greg and group. Jonathan, good to see you. Hope you're having a good evening, my friend, and that you had a really nice Mother's Day weekend. Johnson is here. Good to see you, Johnson. Hi, Greg and all. Marcus says, I meant short really into the value zone. On McDonald's, yeah, I would take a short on this because of it's moving up, 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 and the momentum's going down, down, down. But I wouldn't just randomly do it. I would need some kind of trigger. I need a V1 to the downside, false breakout to the upside from here. You know, maybe a rejection of the 70 RSI and the rejection of the high there would come back into the base. Then yes, I would consider a short of McDonald's. And then if it got back into the value zone, that's where I would want to be covering, or I'd want to be covering, you know, if we went under 50, over 50. If you're short and you go under 50, over 50, that is where you would want to cover. Just like if you're long and you go above 50 and below 50, I would take off half of my position. Hope that helps. Yuvar is here. Nice to see you, Yuvar. Hope you're having a good day. Khalid is here. Hello, everybody. Hello, Khalid. Nice to see you. Kuda, how you doing? I love that name. Hope you're having a good day, sir. If there's anything I can help you with, please let me know. Lilia is here. Hello, Lilia. Hope you are doing well. Hope you and the dogs had a nice weekend. And Lilia says, hi, Greg and everyone. Frank has a poem. Let's see what the Frank poem is today. You know it's going to be good because it comes from Frank. I hope one day I see that poem book, Frank. Frank says, you can make money or you can be right. We all have opinions, but they're best kept out of sight. Trading has risk and its share of rife. Winning means traders must carefully choose their fights. Boy, that's true in trading and everything else. Carefully choosing your fights. If you fight everything and anybody, you're just not going to have the energy to keep doing it. You got to choose your fights if you really want to win them, right? But in trading, it's so true. Choose carefully on the trades and the setups. You know, I have a saying that says, if a trade's not obvious, it's obviously not a good trade. And I love that. I mean, if it, you know, Dr. Alexander Elder always taught me when I studied with him that the trade should jump off the screen. He goes, Greg, if it doesn't jump off the screen at you, then it's probably not a good trade. You're probably going to have to sit there and justify why it's a good trade. He said it should just jump off. So let's read that one more time. Frank says, you can make money or you can be right. We all have opinions, but they're best kept out of sight. Trading has risk and its share of rife. Winning means traders must carefully choose their fights. How good is that? Thank you, Frank. All right, well, let's go over to the fights that I decided to pick. And so far, going okay. Gary and I did buy silver on the weekly bars with a return to value, back into the value zone, sideways motion, under 50, over 50, under 50, over 50 SMA, V2 here, false breakout to the downside. I bought it at 43.96 about about a month ago. And currently it's 51.10. I did sell half of my position here because we went over the 50 and under the 50. I wish I hadn't. I mean, actually, I don't even think that way. I just followed my rules. But so far, this trade on the weekly, up 14.18%. That's just entry to exit. I have not made that much because I got out of half and I scale, but it's too hard to figure out those numbers for you right here. But you can see if you just bought and held that 14.18. So pretty good. Goldman Sachs, another really nice trade. Bought Goldman Sachs way back here at 335.28 with the 520 crossover, moved up nicely, had this big down bar that unfortunately closed below both the 5 and the 20. I had to sell half there because that was a bit of a warning sign, a precautionary measure. I sold half, but I did keep the other half, and look at the rest of this other half. Woohoo! This has really gone up. This is a very bearish bar here. I did hit one profit target today at 374.49. We have not closed below the previous day's low. We have not closed beneath the 70 RSI. We have not closed below the 5 EMA. So this trade is doing very, very well. On the second half from entry to current price, 9.68. Honeywell. Paxton, Tracy, David, Frank, and myself did take Honeywell. I knew I liked this trade. Do you remember that? Nice return to value, nice consolidation, nice sideways motion, false breakout to the downside, V1, 520 crossover, bullish engulfing bar. Bought this at 225.14. It is currently 231.65. It's up 1.26% today. I did hit one profit target today at 230.22. and 231.67, and this trade entry to current price up 2.76%. Microsoft, not so hot tamale. Paxton, David, Jonathan, I did buy Microsoft with the false breakout to the downside, rejection to the 50 EMA, V1, bought here at 249.66. The very next day it bounced nicely, hit two profit targets. Today, though, come back down. I will have to get out of half of my position today because it went over 50, under 50. So this trade is a little bit underwater. But again, taking those profit targets off yesterday or Friday, always a good idea. I always like to take and book and lock in a little bit of profit when the market gives it to me. But I will be selling half of this today because it went over 50, under 50. My stop here is 246.40. Well, actually, no, halfway. Sorry, I moved that line. 247.43. If it closes under 247.43 today, I will have to exit the trade and just get out of it for the loss. PKI is a trade that I bought with David last week. Nice setup, higher low V1 bullish engulfing bar, 520 crossover. This is on the weekly now. Bought this at 141.02. It's currently 139.87. It is down 0.77%. Overnight SPY trade was a good one. Over the weekend trade, I bought the SPY on Friday at 422.12. Sold it right at the open this morning at 422.55. So not a big gain, 32 cents or so, but more importantly, I got out at the right time. And this illustrates here how often the open is sold into, and we have come way back down. So good little overnight SPY trade, not great, but profitable, right? Better than the kick in the butt. And I will be buying this again today, much lower. So we'll see if we can get another bounce tomorrow. We'll see. UNG. All right, I did buy UNG on the monthly bars. Keep in mind, this is a monthly trade, so a long-term trade. Higher low V2 back in the value zone while MACD was positive. Bought it at 10.52. It's currently 10.50. So it's down 2 cents on the trade, and I'll wait to make my buying and selling decisions at the end of this month. All right, on the day trade, I traded earlier this morning. I didn't trade any after that, but I did buy Apple back here on the 5-minute, and I really nailed this trade, and I was proud of myself because it's kind of, if Kamal's out there, he'll understand, but we went under 30, over 30, I didn't want to buy the under 30, over 30. I felt like it was a little extended. I wanted to see if we could get a little bit of a pullback. It did pull back. I pulled the trigger here. It wasn't halfway of the washed out bar, but I pulled the trigger here at 128.04. Then it went down more, and I was like, that was not good. But it did hold where it was supposed to hold. I sold it at I bought it at 128.04. 3 bars later, had a nice big up move. I sold some at 128.35. Then we had a close below the previous day's low after moving 1.5 ATRs from my entry point. I sold some at 128.32. Then we had another big bar that broke out over that previous range. I sold there at 128.52. Had another big up thrust bar, sold at 128.65. And then on this bar, we lost the 5 and the 20, and it was a big bar, and I was like, that's good enough. So I entered at 128.04. I got out at 128.32, 128.35, 128.40, 128.52, and 128.65. So all in all, good little day trade there on Apple. And let's see, what is Apple doing at the moment? Boy, we were really low. What are we at? 30.61. So we're battling with the 30. Look how far we had to come below to get back above just to get to the 30 RSI. So we'll see. I mean, it's heading back into the value zone, and MACD has turned positive, and you can hear me struggling because I'm trying to take off my sweater, or as my Australian friend says, jumper. Oh man, that was a workout. All right, so that was Apple. Let's go over to your trades now. Take a look. All right, so Steve, okay. Steve, do I still have you in this? Oh, yes. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. India. Steve bought India with the 1050 EMA crossover on India. On Friday, he used the 1050 EMA crossover. He bought it at 42.68. Currently, it's 42.41. So it is down a little on the day, and this one is down a little bit on the trade. SCCO, Steve had a beautiful trade on this along with Frank. Bought it at 72.93. It's 80.69. I think Steve, where did Steve say he sold this? He sold this at 80.90, so even higher than it is now. So I'm going to take Steve off of there, and Frank, you know, at the end there, you can tell me whether or not you're still in this or not. But what did Steve say he had? 10.93% gain in 2 days, everybody. That's why Steve is the master. IBB, Steve, Kamal, Paxton, and Tracy did buy IBB with an intraday rejection of the 200-day moving average at 148.21, had a bounce with the rest of the market on Friday. Now it is down. It's down 1.57% today, so it's down on the day, down on the trade, but it is holding the 200-day moving average. I believe that's what Steve, Kamal, Tracy, and Paxton are using for their end-of-day stop. So it did test it, and it is holding. PCAR, David bought PCAR on the weekly. I like that trade. I remember that trade. False breakout to the downside in V2. Bought at 94.51. It's 95.93. So it's up about $1.43, and it's up $1.51 so far on this weekly trade. So congratulations to David. CIEN, really great trade from Tracy and Paxton. Really great. Close under, close back over the 200-day. They bought at 51.35. Currently, it is 53.93. It's up 0.11% today. But more importantly, on the trade here, it's up 4.88%. So congratulations, Tracy and Paxton. ELY. Ooh, what's happening here? Frank has had a really nice trade on ELY, which is Callaway Golf. Higher low V1 bullish engulfing bar, bought at 27.75. Had a massive move up. Oh, this looks like it probably had to do with earnings. But Frank, this is down on the day, but Frank is up nicely, about 8.06% on this trade. Angie. All right, so Steve bought Angie with a confluence deep dip buy of the under 30, over 30, rejection of the 200-day moving average. And this is the one Steve was talking about that failed. And Steve sold this at 12.57, which is good because now it's 12.39. So, yep, it's good confluence, rejection of the negative third ATR channel too, but it just couldn't hold. There were not enough buyers at that deep dip buy level. So anyway, we'll take that one off for you, Steve. Boeing, I saw this up earlier. Kamal bought Boeing on the weekly, and Gary sold 210, 220 May 21st put spreads for $108 a contract. So they bought it on the weekly at, I guess I have here Kamal about 231.80. It's 233.90. So it is down on the day, but it is still up on the trade, which is important. Shopify, Kamal and Frank bought Shopify with the intraday rejection of the 200-day on Friday at 11.08. It's currently 11.79, so it is down 2.52% today. So it is down on the trade, and it is down on the day. And then Uber, Kamal and Gary bought a half position on Friday with the bounce of the 200-day. Good risk to reward ratio for sure. But like a lot of those deep dip buys, they failed today. So this one's down on the day and down on the trade. Kamal says, Greg, I was in the same Apple trade, got out at 1/3. Oh, you were? Good. Glad to hear that. Let's go back to that trade. Oh, I erased it all. So what did you do there? Got out of 1/3 at 128.65, rest of it out at break even. Okay, good. Nice going. Tony said, just bought your Udemy course. Oh, fantastic, Tony. If there's anything I can help you with on that course, when you're watching, and if you have any questions, just ask me here in the live stream, and I'll be able to tell you, and I will also be able to show you up on the screen. But thank you for that. I hope you find it helpful, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Mamal is here. Good to see you, Mamal. Let's look at VIX. I have VIX right over here. All right, let's check out and see what the under, let's see if we had an under 30 over 30. I don't think we did. No. We got 32, 32.50. This is a V1 here today. Nice V1. MACD is positive. I don't like that we've rejected the -1 ATR channel above us. I would much rather have this. I mean, it may still rally. There's no doubt about it. But I'd like to see it come into the value zone, have a pullback, test that -1 ATR channel, and then look for a higher low V1 or V2. I don't know, obviously I don't know what this is going to do. VIX is a very finicky beast. But would I buy this? No, I would not just buy that. It has a V1, but it did not go under 30 over 30. Frank says, I must leave early today, but so I did sell SCCO at 81.87 in shop. Okay, so let's take care of that then. So let's get rid of, all right, so we'll get rid of Southern Peru. Nice, beautiful trade on that, Frank, on that crossover. So we'll take that one off, and then Shopify. Frank also got out of Shopify. Good. Frank and Kamal's superpowers are able to, their superpowers to be able to quickly cut losses and adhere to their losses. And that is a superpower, everybody. That is a superpower. Okay. Let me just take a little quick look over at what I'm doing over here. Let's look at the Dow. The last time I looked at the Dow, that's a bit of a bearish price action on that candle. That's a negative kangaroo tail. It is still holding the 70, but that is quite bearish, especially we got up to the fourth ATR channel. Let's check it out over on the weekly. I mean, it's strong. I mean, we're up today, right? Obviously, we're up today, but sometimes these kind of bars surprise you and go up the next day. So I wouldn't be doing anything here on the Dow at the moment. All right, let me just check real quick. All right, AGQ, great trade, doing well, a little bit down on the week, but still good. Goldman Sachs, great trade. It is up on the day, one profit target. Honeywell, love this trade. Pull back to value, sideways motion V1, all that stuff. Two profit targets here. Look, I am above 65 RSI. I'm at 66.36. What does that mean? Well, once I get to 65 RSI, then my 5 EMA comes into play. So if at any point today, tomorrow, in the future, if I get it closed below the 5 EMA, I am out of there. We are back up against resistance here. This concerns me a little bit, but I did hit two profit targets. As you know, as I move up, I just continually take chips off the table. I continually reduce the size of my position. I guess I should check this, shouldn't I? We got to 67.89 right at resistance. I'll tell you what, I may sell half of this today. I don't like that we got to resistance. We couldn't get to the 70 RSI, so I'm going to consider just taking half profits on this. Again, we got to resistance, couldn't get above it. We got very close to the 70 RSI, couldn't get above it. That's a warning sign. I'll probably take half off here today. Microsoft, we were over 50 on Friday. We're under 50. This one is slightly underwater on the trade. It held my end of day stop like almost to the penny, but I will be getting out of half of this as well. So I am going to get out of half of Honeywell unless we can break and move up higher. I will get out of half of Honeywell, lock in profits there. Microsoft, I will lock in a partial loss on this because of the over 50, under 50. PKI on the weekly is fine. Nothing I have to do there. Had the overnight SPY trade, which is great. Not a great profit, but decent. And I'll buy this again at the close. And then UNG is kind of a zero burger at the moment. It's right about even, but that's a monthly trade, so that's going to take a while. All right. All right, so listen, before we start looking at the potential end-of-day trades, looking for the best trade that fits my three criteria, which confluence, combination of indicators lining up on multiple time frames. Number two, good risk to reward ratio, at least 2 to 1. And number three, having a full trading plan, knowing what you're going to do, whatever the price does. If it goes up, if it goes down, whatever. But this is from Money Trade Edge, Better Thinking, Better Trading. I really like this channel. I discuss this the sayings on this channel a lot on this program, and it's just a great channel. So go and look up Money Trade Edge on Twitter and follow, because it's worth taking a few minutes to read the post every day because they are really good. Let's see what Money Trade Edge has to say today. 90% of your fear can be dissolved by reducing risk, backtesting your system, and thinking long term. So, when we have fear or elation, I might add, but when we're manic or depressive, that is when issues and problems come in with your trading. In this particular example, 90% of fear can be dissolved by reducing your risk, backtesting your system, and thinking long term. What I really like here is the reducing the risk. Yes, you can backtest your system. Yes, you can think long term. They're important. But you know I'm big on position size. And if you're the worst trader in the world, but you're position sizing correctly, you're probably going to hang in there pretty well, even if you couldn't trade your way out of a paper bag, right? But I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about other people. But I'm just trying to make the point. If you were the worst trader in the world, if you position size correctly by reducing your risk, you would do just fine. Now, if you know how to trade, if you know to look for good indicators, if you look for confluence of signals, then reducing your risk is going to add even more comfort to your mindset about your trade. So what am I really saying here? What I'm saying is reduce the size of your position, reduce the size of your risk. Because when you're trading, what are you fearing in trading? You're fearing that you're going to lose money, and that's going to interfere with trading your plan. The smaller your position size, the more you're going to trade your plan. If I tell you to go out and buy one share of Netflix, you're probably going to stick with the plan almost perfectly. Right? I'm almost certain. But if you have 1,000 shares of Netflix and it moves in one 5-minute bar down big, you're going to go, what's happening, right? And you're going to get in the way of your trading plan. So 90% of your fear can be dissolved by reducing risk, backtesting your system, and thinking long-term. Just take it from me. I've been doing this a long time. It's good advice. If you're having problems following your plan, just reduce the size of your position and it will help immensely. It will help immensely. Do it. Try it. Try it and get back to me and let me know if you don't say, gosh, you know what? I really did trade my plan better. I wish I would have had more shares, but if you had more shares, would you have traded it correctly, right? You have to like kind of acclimatize to that. And so if you can trade one share correctly and not two, then stick with one, try two again. If you can trade two again, follow the plan, stick with it, work yourself up to three. Does it make sense? All right. Thank you for that Thank you for that post, Money Trade Edge. I appreciate it. Really good one. And give me 1 second. I need to do two things that I should have done before the podcast. Hang tight. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Kamal says Twitter below the 200 and above the 200. Yes, I saw that. That is there on my list. And thank you for reminding me. Let me write that down and let me do a little math on Twitter here. What I'm doing, I'm taking my maximum allowed loss on any one trade. I'm dividing it by the value of the 2 ATR, which is right here. So if my risk on this trade's $5,000, I'll divide that by 575, and that will tell me how many shares to buy, which also adjusts and accounts for the volatility, which is important, which a lot of traders do not do. So thank you for reminding me there, Kamal. Paxton says, going south. Are we talking about account value today, or are you heading south? Kamal says AYX. I mean, it's a higher low V1, Kamal, but it's still under the -1 ATR channel. So that concerns me a lot. George, good to see you. Hi there. Arrived a little bit late. Well, good to see you. Better late than never, my friend. Thank you so much for coming. All right, so let's start here. Speaking of Bitcoin, let's look at Bitcoin. False breakout to the upside, V1 to the downside. We lost the 50 RSI. It's a little bearish. That's a little bearish. Amazon was my favorite one today. Amazon does backtest very well with the rejection of the 200-day moving average. Currently, oh, that reminds me, sorry. Oh, I already did that, okay. Currently, the 200-day moving average is 3203.68. We are at 3204.5. So this is an intraday rejection of the 200-day moving average. If this holds here, I will buy it on a stock like McDonald's, like on a stock like Amazon. I will. Let's look at the weekly. Okay, not that great on the weekly, although it is holding the 50 RSI. That is something, right? That's the invisible support. So I like the weekly. I mean, I like the weekly that it's in the value zone for one. I like it that it's holding the 50 RSI for two. Remember, I like to look at multiple time frames. On the daily, it is holding the 200-day, so there were enough buyers that came in on the 200-day moving average to hold support there. People say, oh, sometimes technical analysis doesn't work. Well, okay, sometimes, but You want to explain to me exactly why it bounced exactly at the 200-day today, almost exactly. So I do like Amazon. I like the quality of the company, obviously. I've been waiting for a deep dip buy. Good thing I didn't buy up here, right? Don't want to buy up here at the third ATR channel. 92% of prices fail there, right? So I am considering buying Amazon with a close above the 200-day moving average today. And on the weekly, holding the 50 RSI. Etsy. Well, Etsy got hammered on earnings, below 200, possibly closing over the 200. Doesn't seem to be doing it right this minute. I like Amazon better than I like Etsy. Let's look at the weekly on Etsy. Bounced right at the 50 EMA. Of course, we had a big bar down last week. I would imagine if we bounce, we'll bounce to about here. 178. So it looks like it has about 10 points possibly to the upside, but currently right now it has rejected the 200-day above, so no interest yet. Twitter, as Kamal mentioned, I have been waiting patiently for Twitter to go under the 200 and over the 200. It is 2601 RSI. Normally I would not buy under the 30 RSI, but if it closes above the 200, I will, because I still would have significant support of the 200-day below me. But right now, the 200 is 5208 and the price is 5188, so it is below. Sprouts Fresh Market, speaking of not being able to trade myself out of a paper bag, I have not ever been able to trade myself out of a paper bag with Sprouts Fresh Market. I admit it. It takes a big man to admit it, and I am admitting it. I have had really bad luck trading this, but I'm not going to buy this. Has a 520 crossover. You know, with what I just told you, do what you want to do. But I'm not going to buy this. I'm not going to buy this here. MCK, McCormick and Company, the spice company, false breakout to the downside with the V2. 1, 2, 3, 4 times rejected at the 250-day moving average. That's a little concerning. I don't like that it's rejected those levels, so I'm going to pass on McCormick. TripAdvisor. We're just getting right back into that level where it tends to fail with that trend line. No. Affirm showed up a lot on the scanner today. This is an under 30, over 30. This is a false breakout to the downside. This is a V1. There's lots of volume there. That's interesting. Rejection of the negative third ATR channel. That's interesting. Let's look at the weekly. Don't have enough data here on this particular one to even have any indicators. It's the 34.59, a lot of volume. This is interesting. I'm not going to buy it, but it is interesting, and it is a correlation of entry signals. V1, under 30, over 30, rejection of the negative third ATR channel, and a rejection of the previous low of the range there. That is definitely interesting. I'll put this here as like a secondary PTON. Looks like it went under 30, over 30, plus a V1. It got stuck right at the 5 EMA. Let's look at the weekly. I don't really see anything on the weekly other than the negative 2 ATR channel above us as resistance. So I'm going to pass on that. BDX, nice under 200, over 200, does offer a pretty good risk to reward ratio there. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly got stuck into these bands right here. Don't like that. WEX, under 30, over 30. But just not enough. BEKE, under 30, over 30, but that's just too big of a bar for me to get interested in, so no. Amazon is below the 200-day moving average now, So this is not in play unless it closes above. Etsy still below the 200, not in play. Twitter still below the 200, not in play. Affirm looks at the moment the best, but I'm not going to buy this. I don't like, we're getting kind of close to halfway that big down bar on the weekly. So I'm going to focus on Amazon. And if Amazon closes above 200, I will buy it. If it closes below, then I will just pass. And all I will do is buy the overnight SPY trade. Now, I am going to get rid of Microsoft right here, half of Microsoft, because it went over 50, under 50. So I am going to get rid of half of this. What do I have? Okay. I'm going to sell half there. I don't want too much to do at the end of the day because I think I'm going to have to be watching Amazon with the with that 200. So I'm going to go ahead and sell half of Microsoft here. And I'm also going to sell half of Honeywell, the rejection of this previous high. We got very close to the 70 RSI. So I am going to sell half of Honeywell. And just lock those profits in. Okay. All right, so I am going to put up here, oh, that's unfortunate. Let's see, I am going to put up here Amazon. Come on, Greg. Come on, buddy. We have about 6 minutes. Oh, thank you, Kamal, for Affirm. I didn't see that. Paxton says, taking chips off the table, going south. Gotcha. I love taking chips off the table. Kamal says, Affirm has earnings after the close. Thank you. Thank you also, Jonathan. Steve says, I exited INDA for a 0.68% loss on the bearish reversal candle. Steve says, I exited IBB for a 0.61% loss on the reversal candle. Yavar says, Dow giving up all gains today. Jonathan said, time delay from Ireland. So Amazon doesn't look like it's going to do it, at least not this second anyway, but who knows? All right, so I did sell Honeywell. Ooh, Goldman Sachs, is it going to close below the 70? If it did, I would have to get out of half. Amazon could get there. This is one of the tough things with trading these at the very last second. You just kind of have to wait and see. And where did my... Oh, come on. Oh, there they are. There's my notes. All right, so I am going to get ready to potentially buy Amazon if it closes above 32.03. It certainly could get there. Apple holding to 50. That's interesting. SPY making a low on the day. All right, so I don't think there's anything to buy here. I'm glad I sold half of Microsoft when I did. All right, looks like we have about 30 seconds. Oh, that's great. And my platform froze. Sorry. Let me reboot this up here. There's the close, but my platform's closed, so I have to log back in. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, everybody. All right, so let's see where I got filled on the overnight SPY trade. That's all I bought. I didn't buy anything else. So I bought SPY 417.94 for the overnight SPY trade. 417.94. I also sold half of Microsoft. Oh, look at that. Look at that, everybody. I missed my exit. I may be able to sell that after hours. If I can, I will. Because it closed below halfway the washout bar. I missed that. Shame on me. But I did sell half, a little higher, thankfully. And I did sell half of Honeywell here. So listen, if any of my students have any new entries or exits that they would like me to put up on the board, I'm happy to do that. This would be the time to do it. Just go ahead, put it in the chat. Before we do, just wanted to go over 3 quick pieces of business. First, I want to remind everybody that I do teach private one-on-one lessons in the evening time via Skype. I love to teach. I think I'm really good at it. And I know I teach a really good course. In the course that I teach is 15 hours, 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours. That's where you get 15. And I do have 5 different trading approaches that I use. And in each one of the sessions, in each one of the 3-hour sessions, I teach you specifically how exactly step by step to trade that particular setup. We have like the deep dip buy setups, right? We have higher low V1s, V2s. We have return to value V1s, V2s. We have crossovers. We have double bottoms, bullish divergences. So I teach you all of these one-on-one. It's the best way to learn. You know, the price of the course is $1,750, but I really do believe it is worth every single penny because of all the years I've been trading and the experience, and you know the one-on-one attention that you get. I can answer your questions right away. I test you a lot to see if you're following. We do a lot of simulation trades, which is the best way to learn in my opinion. So if you are interested and you would like to kind of take it to the next level and study with me, do this course with me, my email is in the description of this video. All you have to do is send me an email and say, hey Greg, I'm interested in taking your one-on-one course, potentially interested in taking your one-on-one course. I will reply and say, great, let's set up a Skype call. Skype call is free. All I want to do is talk to you, learn more about you, learn more about your trading, learn more about what you are expecting to get out of the course, and your trading challenges and your trading goals. And it's also a really good time for you to ask me questions about the course. All right. And then after the Skype call, you can think about it as long as you want. And if you decide, hey, I want to do this, just email me back and we will get it scheduled and away we go. Secondly, I do have a new online course on udemy.com. It's one of the 5 courses that I teach in the private lessons, and it's called the Deep Dip Buy Stock Trading Strategy. It's one of my favorite strategies. It's a really good course. It's 9.5 hours of video. It is 26 videos total, 15 study guides. It's a great course. I've gotten a lot of good feedback. I've got a lot of good reviews. So, you know, if you're not able to afford the one-on-one course, the course on Udemy, the video course on Udemy is like $12 to $15. So it's a really good investment of $12 to $15 because I teach you step by step, and you're going to learn a lot of good principles in that course. And that the link to that course, to the udemy.com course, is in the description of this video. So do yourself a favor, invest the $12 or $15, take the course, and if you have any questions while you're taking the course, just come to the live stream and ask me and I will answer them. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, if you like today's podcast, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. It really does help to build the channel, keep the channel around, and let YouTube know that there is some good content and valuable content here. So, you know, if you liked whatever, you learned something today, or you learned something last week or in the recent past, if you could hit the thumbs up button before you get out of here, that would be fantastic. Thank you, and I would appreciate it. Okay, so okay, we got rid of SCCO. Steve got rid of India. Is that the only buddy? Yeah. Okay, so we'll get rid of India. Steve exited IBB. All right. Microsoft down $10. It is. I should have gotten out of Microsoft today. I got out of half. I show it down $5.28. I got out of half, but it closed below halfway the washout bar. Let me go over real quick and see. Okay, it's up after hours, so I can get out here, and I'm going to do that. Follow my rules. And let's see if I can pick the midpoint and get out like I'm supposed to. I just missed that at the end of the day. Yep, there it is. So I'm out. And let's see over here. Yeah, there we go. All right. So completely out of Microsoft. So I'm going to move that over here. Apple I can get rid of. Amazon I'll look tomorrow. Two things I'm looking on Amazon. We lost the 200-day moving average today, but I will also be keying off of the 250 as well. If it continues to go down, I will also key off of the 250. And I did get out of half of Honeywell, plus the 2 profit targets. That was a good trade. Goldman Sachs had a big reversal bar. I'll just wait for a close under 70 to get out of half. And then if I get a close below the previous day's low, I'll get out of half. Or if we close below the 5 EMA, I'll get out of everything as well. All right, Kamal added AYX. All right, so Kamal added, Kamal bought AYX. Okay. And then you added to what, Kamal? IBB. You added to IBB with the holding, because it held the 200, so he added a little bit more. I'm just going to put added with second 200 SMA rejection. Is that all right? Did I spell everything right? All right. Dan says thumbs up. Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate that. Gary says no new trades. Thank you. Out of Microsoft and half of Honeywell. Okay. Yeah, I think that was the right move on Honeywell. I mean, we'll see, right? But I did it again because we couldn't breach the 70 RSI. We got right here to resistance the last time we had resistance, so it makes sense. And then out of Microsoft. David is out of Microsoft. Yeah, sorry I missed that at the end of the day there. That really just sold off at the end of the day, so. But yeah, so I still have Jonathan, Paxton, and Tracy here. Oh, I did? No. I have Paxton and Tracy right here still, Kamal. But I did spell your name wrong. Okay. So I have Paxton, Tracy, and Kamal. Because you added to IBB, right? Yeah, you added. So VIX is up after hours. Apple is down. Silver's unchanged. Honeywell's unchanged. SPY is down a little bit. So, you know, what I was really looking for was Amazon today, but it closed below. It was not, there were not enough buyers to hold it at that key level. So, you know, I'd like to see this come down to the 250, get this another 78 points lower. Sorry if any of you have Amazon, but that's where I would be looking if it continues down. If it closes back above tomorrow, then I'll buy it. VIX continuing up after hours. All right, well, let me read this real quick. If we all do one random act of kindness daily, we just might set the world in the right direction, by Martin Kornfeld. I love this saying. It's simple, but why don't we all try to implement this in our daily lives, right? It's nice to go out and do something nice for someone else, to give them a hand, help them out, even if you're just pleasant. It really could make their day. You don't know what kind of day they're having. One little kind act of kindness really could turn their whole day around. And for an animal as well. If you come across an animal, just be kind to it. It's a living being that has feelings, and if you're kind to it, it will appreciate it. I promise you. So it will be good for the animal. It will be good for the human. It will be good for you. Good all the way around, and it's just a nice thing to do to get in the habit, because maybe one day, if you're in need of it, maybe somebody will come along and do it for you, and it will make your day a whole lot better. All right? Okay. All right, so we added AYX for Kamal. Kamal added to IBB. Paxton says, thank you, Greg. Thank you, Packy. Appreciate it, buddy. Got rid of Steve's stuff in INDA, IBA, SCCO, Angie. All right. All right, so I kind of like where I'm sitting here. Have a little silver, have a little Goldman Sachs, have a little Honeywell, PKI on the weekly, overnight SPY trade, UNG on the monthly. So not a lot of positions. A lot of them, some of them are half positions, or I've scaled out of a lot. So it looks like I have a bunch, but I really don't. That's one of the great things about scaling. Every time you hit profit targets, you reduce, you reduce, you reduce, you reduce, you reduce. SPC earnings look like a rocket ship is blowing up. Let's take a look. Well, this is going to be big, I guess. Or down. Oy vey. That kind of rocket ship. Down 9% on SPICE. Well, again, I can't resist a time to tell people why it's generally a bad time to hold through earnings. SPCE is down 9.75%. Our job as traders is, number one, to manage risk. Profit is secondary. So the best way to manage risk, the worst way to manage risk is to buy ahead of earnings and gamble. If you want to gamble, go to Las Vegas, get some show tickets, get some free drinks, get a buffet, do whatever you want to do in Vegas. But at least in Vegas, you get a little bit compensated for gambling. I know, I used to live there. Right? But in the market, you're not getting any free comp tickets to, I don't even know what shows they have down there anymore. Cirque du Soleil. You're not doing it. They do not hand them out of the market. And it's essentially what you are doing. You are gambling. Remember, your first priority is to manage risk. Ironically, if you manage the risk, the profits will come. If you focus on risk, the profits will come. If you focus on profits, the losses will come. Don't ask me why. It's just written in the laws of trading. That is how it works. Well. That's a big down day on the NASDAQ, down 350. Oh my gosh, that's a big day. And, I felt that too on my Microsoft. But again, let's just, for example, let's look. I have silver. I have Goldman Sachs as financials. I have Honeywell, which is an industrial. I have PKI, which I can't remember what that is. I have SPY, which is an index, and I have natural gas currently, which obviously is a commodity. And then I had Microsoft, which is tech. But imagine if I was loaded up on tech today. Wouldn't be so hot tamale, right? Gary says, have a great day, Greg. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Hope you're doing well, bud. And all right, does anyone else have any other questions for me? Anything that I can answer for you? Any of the people that were taking the Udemy course, if you have any questions, this would be a great time to let me know on the Deep Dip Buy. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer that as well. It's a beautiful day here in Utah. It's been cold though, but I am going to go for a hike and enjoy the weather. Johnson says, if Amazon 5,200 bearish cross happens on the same day price bounce from the 200, would that have mattered to your decision to buy? Oh, that's a good question. No, because you know what, Johnson, I have found the irony more times than not every time, right? Let's be clear about what I'm saying. Generally, when I see a 5,200 cross under, which is the death cross, long term that's bearish. But what I have found is in the short run, it tends to bounce. If you have a 50 crossing the 200, long term that's bullish. But what I have found, not every time, but more times than not, if you have a 5,200 golden cross, meaning they cross each other, you tend to temporarily go down after that. It's a strange thing that happens in trading. So if I saw a 5,200 cross under, I would be more likely to buy the close back above the 200 because of the strange condition where they tend to go opposite of the long-term direction of what that cross is. So in other words, if the 50 crosses under the 200, long-term that's bearish, but short-term I look at it as bullish. So it would make me more interested in buying the close back over the 200. Does that make sense, Johnson? Lovis says, thank you for everything. I'm following all the rules. Good for you, my man. Really good. Kuda, hey. Hello, Greg. Please explain how you use the RSI. Also, I hear you say under over 30. What does that mean? Okay. Let me find an example because we had quite a few of them. Okay, RSI means relative strength indicator. It's a mathematical formula that measures how far and how fast something goes up or down. And so the 30 RSI level is a level where you have a lot of buyers come in and it's considered oversold. So I look at three RSI levels, Kuda. I look at the 30. See the line down here? This is the 30 RSI. Then I have the 50 RSI. Then I have the 70 RSI. When prices get to the 70 RSI, when they get overbought, 92% of the time they tend to stop moving up and go down. Conversely, when a stock goes under 30 and over 30, that's generally a short-term bottom, which you can expect a move up. So look over here. If you're looking at the screen, you see how it says 3407? Okay, so let's look at the price yesterday. The RSI level was 28.37, right? So I just went back one day. 28.37. So the RSI was under 30. It closed under 30. Look, I'm going to go forward one day. I go forward one day. It's 34.07. So see, the level went 28 or whatever it was yesterday. Now it closed over. Now it closed at 34.07. So it closed, the closing reading was an under 30, and today the closing reading is over 30. That's what I mean by an under over 30. Conversely, it can go down under 30 during the day, but then close back over the 30. That's called an intraday rejection. So I look for readings that close under 30 and close over 30, because there are a lot of 30 RSI buyers that come in. And like I say, about 90% of the time, an under 30 over 30, that's a short-term low that would allow me to trade it to the upside. So RSI stands for relative strength indicator. It measures how fast and how far something has moved in a period of time. And when prices get down to that 30 RSI level, I like to see them close under the 30, and then the next day close back over, or go under the 30 intraday and then close back over. So it's an indicator that I use for the deep dip buy stock trading strategy. Now, that alone is fine, but I like to look for confluence of indicators. I like to look, an under 30 over 30 at the same time it goes under the 200 over the 200, or in other words, closes below the 200 and back over the 200. The more signals that you have at the same time, the better. Does that make sense, Kuda? And by the way, Kuda, on my YouTube channel, Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, there's a playlist in there called Lessons. And I have a video in that lesson section that talks about the different type of signals that I use, and I show examples. And if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure, I don't know why I wouldn't have that in there, but I do have, you can see that, and that's totally free too. All right. So, but yeah, here on Peloton, it closed under 30, went over 30. What else did we have that went under 30, over 30? Let's see. McKesson didn't. Trip didn't. WEX. Well, here we go. WEX. Okay, maybe this never closed under 30. No, this never closed. See, here's 34.68. 35.65, 33, 31, 30, 26, 20, 30, 21. Okay, this is an example, Kuda. This bar today is 30.21, but you can see it closed off of its low. So earlier in the day, it was lower, and I have a little tool here I can measure. At the low of the day, it looks like we got to a 29.54 RSI. So that's under. Intraday, it's under. But it closed at 30.21. So it went under 30 and back over 30. So that's an intraday rejection. But again, an under 30, over 30 by itself is fine. But it's better when you have a combination or a confluence of indicators, meaning an under 30, over 30 at the same time you have an under 200, over 200, maybe throw in a V1 or a V2 for good measure. That's even better, right? Cherry on top with that one. Boy, Bitcoin has gotten hammered today. Holy hamburgers. I guess I'll be trading a little Bitcoin tonight. Hey, Kuda, let me show you something. This is a chart of Bitcoin right now, right this second. See this last bar? This last bar, I want you to look over here. Do you see how that last RSI reading right now, look over right here, is 30.61. Do you see how much lower we went on this bar? This means we went well under 30 and then closed above 30. I don't just use these on daily bars. I use these on weekly bars. I use these on intraday bars. So technically, right now, I could switch over, make a trade in this account because it went under 30, over 30. The next bar, these are 1 hour bars. So if the next bar then closed under 30, I would just get out, hopefully for a small loss. If I'm right and it bounces, it could bounce all the way back up to here. So, but it gives you a good risk to reward ratio. When I'm done with this podcast, I'm probably going to get in here and make a trade. All right, everybody. I think that's it for today. I appreciate you coming. Hope you have a good day. Go out, do something nice, be good, be safe, drive safe, get some exercise, read some books, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm kidding, right? But just try to go out and make it a good day for yourself and others. And yeah, tough day today in the NASDAQ. But listen, these deep dip buys, I mean, we are in deep dip buy territory on some of these big companies like Amazon. Right? If Apple gets down to the 200 or low RSI level, the best thing in the world is being patient, conserving your capital, trading well, having some cash, keeping some of your powder dry so that when these big name companies like a Microsoft or an Amazon or an Apple or, one of the big tech companies gets down to that 200-day moving average, it doesn't mean it's going to bounce there, right? I want to be clear on that. It doesn't mean it's going to bounce. But you're setting, because it's not, technical indicators are not a forward-looking indicator, right? It's not predictive, but it gives you a good context to set up a good risk to reward ratio. And that's what trading is all about. Kuda says, very clear, Greg. Thank you so much for some more quality content today. You're welcome, sir. You are definitely welcome. Okay, well, that's it. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, and I'm going to jump over here and start trading Bitcoin. How about that? Thanks for coming today, everybody. And if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, I would appreciate that on the way out a lot. All right. Okay. On the way out, I've got to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. So have fun with that. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.